This was my foot 2 years ago.
In fact, it all started 6 years ago when my blood and sugar got out of control.
The crazy spikes attacked my body, traumatized my family, and emptied my bank account. And if this weren't enough, I was told repeatedly how I could go into a diabetic coma at any time, even go blind or suffer a heart attack. Thank God I was able to save myself before it was too late, and diabetes was eliminated from my body forever.
And I'm grateful every day of my life for this miracle.
Because even though I was ready to lose my leg, my happiness, and my life, what happened next completely changed my destiny and allowed me to survive and share my painful story.
You see, I now know all these things I learned were no accident.
And if I reverse my type 2 diabetes, you can too. Stay with me until the end, and you'll quickly understand. I'm the first to admit that a few years ago I knew almost nothing about this misleading disease named diabetes, except that I was supposed to take my medication. Medication which, by the way, quickly led me to this critical condition. But thankfully, after a shocking encounter with a famous researcher and a backlog of terrible experiences, I was able to take full advantage of an innovative routine that reversed my type 2 diabetes.
Most people fail to understand that diabetes is not caused by genetics, lifestyle, age, or your favorite meals.
That's a bunch of lies the evil pharma cartels feed you to keep you in the dark as they gradually steal all of your money.
But don't take my word for it, because now, for the first time ever,
diabetes no longer has to be regarded as a chronic disease with an obscure cause. Using innovative methods, this breakthrough study from Newcastle University, led by Professor Roy Taylor, has proven diabetes is caused by a negative feedback loop inside your body, which leads to a death spiral. These revolutionary findings, published in the academic journal Cell Metabolism, show that the true cause of your type 2 diabetes is a specific molecule that compels fat cells to explode in your blood while stiffening your arteries. And then, the toxic fat attacks your liver, pancreas, and even your heart, reducing blood flow and suffocating them.
In the next 4 minutes of this presentation, I'll reveal how anyone at any age can target and kill off the root cause of type 2 diabetes.
Using nothing more than a simple breakthrough process that activates the diabetes reversing switch that lies dormant inside of you. Richard Doherty, 59, did it in 11 days. Carlos Cervantes, 53, was at death's door when he tried it. At 264 pounds, he had already suffered a heart attack. His eyesight and kidneys were failing, and he faced having an infected toe amputated. He even had fungus growing out of his ears, feeding on his ultra-high blood sugar levels. After seeing this breakthrough research, he freed himself in less than 2 months of his type 2 diabetes, and 18 months later, he's still a free man. Steve Vincent, 58, from Southampton, England, was told there was no cure, and he had increased risk of heart attack, stroke, blindness, and limb loss. He now remains diabetes-free and says, "All my blood test levels are within the normal range, and my cholesterol and blood pressure levels are now normal."
So stay with me as we explore the sneaky traps set up by the dark forces behind popular diabetes treatments.
How they work day and night to hide all this information from you, the dangerous products they feed you, and how they keep you addicted till you have nothing left. I'll share the exact proven method that I've used to not only reverse my diabetes, but also melt away more than 58 pounds of stubborn toxic fat. To the amazement of my daughter, wife, and our close friends, rest assured that this clinically tested and proven routine will work for you too. Whether you're a man or woman, 30, 50, or even 85 years old, whether you've been with diabetes for just a few days or your whole life, it's time to rise up, walk away, and make this silent and deadly disease a thing of the past.
If you're feeling skeptical about trying something new or don't think anything else can help, you have to understand that these emotions are normal. And if you're tired and frustrated at everyone and everything, you are not alone. I was stuck in the same rut a few years back.
And when the doctor told me that I needed an amputation, I was ready to try anything And thank God I did, because now I'm finally free of the burden of diabetes, infection, and obesity. I can finally fully enjoy this newfound freedom. The freedom to be healthy, the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, the freedom to eat your favorite foods, and the privilege and the energy to play with my daughter every day for hours. This clinically proven method has now helped 72,977 type 2 diabetes sufferers free themselves from the disease.
People like Jessica N., 52, from North Carolina, who says,
I'm writing to you as a sign of gratitude and appreciation. The method you shared online helped me to stabilize my blood sugar and lower it to acceptable levels. And that's not all, because I also lost 32 pounds and I'm now wearing the same size as when I was 27 years old. I was skeptical about your solution at first, but I'm delighted I gave it a try. I'm totally free of the daily pains I had with my diabetes, such as horrible side effects from medication and eating tasteless meals. It transformed my life, saving me a fortune in medical expenses in the process, and all because I was lucky enough to find your method.
Or Peter M., 64 years old, from Massachusetts, who wrote in to say,
Thank you so much for sharing your diabetes video. I am very glad that I stayed to watch it until the end, because with your powerful diabetes reversing mechanism, I was able to free myself of my type 2 diabetes in only 5 weeks. I used to feel like a burden to my family, scared of dying a miserable death alone. But now, not only have I kept my blood sugar in check, but I also feel full of energy and can eat whatever I want, including dessert or pizza.
I know that seeing these people reverse their type 2 diabetes so easily will make you wish you found out about this years ago. And I'm certain the simplicity and efficiency of this solution will surprise you. Stay with me and watch this video until the very end.
Because the $320 billion diabetes industry is coming after me with legal threats to remove it. They've already taken it down before. I've managed to put it back up, but I don't know how much longer I can keep fighting them off.
Hi, my name is Andrew Freeman. I'm 58 years old and have been a practicing psychologist for more than 20 years.
I'm married to my caring wife, Laura, and we have a lovely daughter, Annabelle. My wife and I love gourmet food, eating out at restaurants, and sharing a delicious ice cream or chocolate cake after our meal. And we took our good health for granted because we always felt fine. Until one day, 6 years ago, almost to the day, I started noticing some rather unusual symptoms. I'd suddenly experience uncontrollable cravings for chocolate and other desserts like warm apple pie.
Then I started to feel tired. This made it difficult to work.
At first, I thought it was seasonal fatigue, but a visit to my doctor revealed something unexpected. The diagnosis was type 2 diabetes. And this was a big shock for me. I wasn't expecting it. I was working out about 4 times a week, and I admit I was eating carbs and I had a bit of a sweet tooth. But who doesn't? From that day on, my doctor, Stephen Moore, put me on large doses of metformin. And of course, I went for monthly checkups on my blood sugar.
I thought the medication would help me feel better, but everything got worse.
And for the next 4 years, my blood sugar levels climbed higher and failed to stabilize. I started having tingling in my legs, and the cravings for sweets never disappeared. I also packed on more than 58 pounds of fat around my belly and back. And aside from feeling heavy all the time, my whole body was aching. That was the moment when my doctor upgraded my medication and decided to give me insulin shots.
I accepted the doctor's decision, but the results didn't change.
Plus, as time went on, my immunity continued dropping and my body became extremely fragile and sensitive. 2.5 years ago, I had a bacterial infection that I couldn't cope with. The Group A streptococcus triggered necrotizing fasciitis in my left leg, silently assaulting my nerves until it was looking like this. And all this happened just because of my diabetes and because of my body's incapacity to fight it.
Nothing seemed to be going well for me.
The 4 meds for the foot infection, together with the insulin shots, made me feel like a zombie. It was really bad. Yet sometimes I had dizziness, diarrhea, and often sweated excessively.
But the worst was yet to come.
On December 20th, right before Christmas, Dr. Daniel Moore gave me the news that hit me like a train. We will have to amputate the left leg, otherwise the infection will spread throughout your body, he said.
This left me speechless.
Oh, I lost my grip on reality. My legs failed me and I was on my way down to hit the floor when Laura held me back up from falling. Then the doctor continued, "The longer we wait, the faster it spreads." My wife acknowledged and told the doctor we would think it over before making a decision. On our way home, I didn't utter a single word because I was still in shock. The shock of never using my left leg again. It felt terrible.
The next few days, I fell into a deep, dark hole of depression.
This was followed by nights when I woke up screaming. I had nightmares about my doctor amputating my leg. Once, I woke up in cold sweats, dreaming I had a heart attack. I was also terrified that diabetes would bring me Alzheimer's. I'd read on the internet that some doctors refer to Alzheimer's as type 3 diabetes.
After all these terrible thoughts and feelings, I started to suspect something was extremely wrong with this picture. It felt like a horror movie.
The truth was that my diabetes had become much worse in an extremely short period of time. It was obvious that I couldn't go on like this, and that's when I fell to my knees. I started to cry, and I prayed. I asked for God's forgiveness because I didn't pay attention to the early signs of diabetes. Then I asked God to help me find a way out of this nightmare and to let me live.
After letting go and putting my trust in a higher power, I felt a feeling of relief and suddenly realized I only had two options.
First, I could continue taking the meds recommended by my doctors with all those nasty side effects for the rest of my life, putting my life in the hands of this broken system that almost amputated my leg. Or I could choose the second option and fight for my life, seeking out the true cause of diabetes and eliminating it from my body forever.
The voice inside of me told me this was my only choice, and from that day I knew this was my new mission in life.
Suddenly, I felt a renewed ambition and determination burning inside of me. So I redoubled my efforts and focused like a maniac. For the next 2 months, I spent all my time searching for information about diabetes, anything that could help me. I signed up to medical sites. I called up universities to find details about the studies they'd published. I read endless reports of clinical trials, but found nothing new.
The conclusions were always the same. Take your medication and act like a diabetic. Well, that was the whole point. I didn't want to be like every other diabetic.
And that's because, according to the National Heart Association, 1 in 5 sufferers needs an arm or leg amputated, like in my case. And diabetes increases your risk of having a stroke by 150%. Plus, diabetes journals like Diabetes Care confirm that almost half of all patients risk losing their eyesight. Reading all this made me understand that having high blood sugar damages your internal organs, just like deep frying. That was scary.
Then I found something else that shocked me. The nasty corruption in the pharma industry.
Big pharma companies spend on average $2.3 billion a year paying doctors to promote and push their meds. The New York Times revealed that these doctors write 50% more prescriptions, which are on average $60 more expensive. And the bad news didn't stop here. In 2018, the Diabetes Caucus published a study that showed how the price of insulin had increased more than 8 times in the last 20 years. For this reason, many Americans now buy their insulin from Canada.
I was disgusted and angry to see that all Big Pharma cared about was putting more money into their shareholders' pockets. I had to do something about it.
So I started reading the prospects to all sorts of diabetes drugs, and I realized that the diabetes meds and treatments have one big problem, a problem that has not been debated yet or honestly presented. They don't act on the root cause of the disease. In fact, they only manage the symptoms. This will never allow you to cure your diabetes. Even worse are the frightening side effects, which every diabetic ends up experiencing, like weight gain, unstoppable cravings, interrupted sleep, cold sweat or excessive sweat, bloating, dizziness, kidney and liver damage. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but we all know these symptoms make your life and diabetes worse, not better.
And while this was a slap in the face and a wake-up call to reality, my research also gave me the glint of hope I needed to keep going.
And led me to the astonishing diabetes reversing solution that I'm about to share with you. I stumbled across amazing stories of men and women who'd successfully reversed their type 2 diabetes without using medication. Not here in America, but farther away from home. In France, for example, a 57-year-old lady, Giselle Darsley, went from an advanced form of diabetes, taking 3 shots of insulin a day, to a complete elimination of diabetes from her body. And there were hundreds of stories I found online, including one about a man of my age who miraculously reversed his type 2 in just 11 days. This got me excited because I finally knew people could reverse their diabetes. And I was sure I could also reverse my type 2 diabetes, but I felt frustrated since I couldn't see how.
One night at 11 p.m., when I was very exhausted and had almost lost all hope, I opened the TV and I saw something that gave me goosebumps.
A 62-year-old American man, Peter Davis, who worked as a journalist for many publications, was talking about his trip in Tibet. That's where he met a local doctor by the name of Sejin Jun, who had helped him lower his sugar levels from 230 to 110 using nothing more than a special traditional tea made from roots, barks, leaves, and berries. Dr. Jun directed him to take this tea every morning for 30 days. And in this way, Peter didn't just balance his sugar level, he also lost a significant amount of fat, about 32 pounds. He added that it skyrocketed his energy and he felt brand new again. He also confessed that he ate a lot of his favorite meals, but this still didn't have a single effect on his sugar levels. His cholesterol was excellent, and now he was free from the disease.
I was lost for words. This was very hard to believe, and he shocked me even further when he laid out a careful analysis that demonstrated and provided his results.
He presented real pictures of what he looked like when he got to Tibet and when he left. The transformation was incredible. He looked younger, stronger, healthier, and much more toned now. This flew right in the face of traditional medicine. I had to know more. What was in this powerful tea, I asked myself.
Unfortunately, they didn't share the exact recipe of this special tea, but what I saw made me more ambitious, and at this point I was left with one final choice.
To find Dr. Jun. When I did some digging, I found out that Dr. Jun was a Tibetan doctor who studied in France for more than 10 years. He did most of his research work there as well. He also formed a partnership with an American and European team of experts with a common goal: to find a remedy so powerful it could control and stabilize blood sugar. That got me thinking.
I searched everywhere for a means to contact him, but I found nothing. So I did something very clever.
I went on Facebook and typed in the name Peter Davis. The search results brought out different people with that same name, but I spotted Peter really fast. I dropped him a message about my desperate situation and asked for a way to reach Dr. Jun. 5 days passed without any response. My willpower was getting weaker. Then I heard a beep on my phone. It was Peter. All I saw in that text was a name and a number. I looked closer and found that it contained the name Dr. Jun and his personal number.
My curiosity got the better of me, and I called Dr. Jung immediately, and I couldn't wait any longer.
The tension was building up in my chest as the phone rang. Then he picked up on the other end of the line with a Tashi Delek, the traditional Tibetan greeting. After properly introducing myself and telling him that I was an American, he confessed that he was intimately close with how widespread diabetes is in the Western world, since he went to med school in France.
I already knew that it gave me even more faith in his treatment.
But I felt Dr. Jun was a little reluctant to give me more details, so I started telling him about Peter, about the TV show that I just saw. And then I poured out my story. I told him how quickly my health deteriorated, how I ended up with a big infection on my leg, one that now requires an amputation. I told him about my unstoppable cravings, my tiredness, and emotional stress, how I did everything right and still got awful results.
Conventional medicine, treatments, meds, and doctors have failed me. I said, "You're my last chance. Please tell me about the tea Peter took."
He listened quietly, and then, after I finished my story, he opened up to me with his vast knowledge and wisdom. I'll give you this specialty formula in a minute, Andrew, but let's be clear about diabetes. The real cause of type 2 diabetes is not eating sugar or carbs. To demonstrate, I can show you studies that confirm Americans and people all over the world have decreased their consumption of sugar and other carbs over the last 10 years, and yet type 2 diabetes rates are constantly growing. We can conclude that people who are trying hard to fix their blood sugar are doing it the wrong way. Newcastle University, where I've done research work for 2 years, discovered that all diabetics have high levels of a tiny but extremely toxic molecule called ceramide. After years of working and continuous research, I can say for sure this is the cause of type 2 diabetes. These foreign compounds, called ceramides, force the fat cells to spill into the bloodstream. In this way, they clog up your vital organs, starting with the liver, pancreas, and finishing with the heart. This is why your body can't produce insulin anymore, because the pancreas, the organ responsible for the production of insulin, gets filled with toxic fat. And insulin is the stimulant that tells your cells to absorb sugar and energy from all the foods you eat. Without your pancreas producing insulin, your sugar stays in the bloodstream, and your blood sugar creeps up, leading you to type 2 diabetes. Also, this toxic fat is suffocating your liver and heart, clogging up your arteries, and that's why diabetics are at a high risk for heart attacks and typically have fatty livers. Now you should understand there are 2 types of people: those who can flush out these tiny molecules on their own, and those who cannot. Of course, losing weight helps, but it's often not enough. The truth is, no matter how hard you try to fix your blood sugar, exercising daily, staying off carbs and sugars, as you've noticed by now, is not working. I'll be completely sincere with you. It's impossible to reverse your type 2 diabetes unless you fix this one thing. That's why me and my colleagues named this procedure the diabetes reversing mechanism. And if you don't activate this mechanism, it's like trying to clean a greasy old grill during the day while somebody else keeps grilling fat-laden meats at night. As long as the burned grease sticks to the grill each night, it'll never stay clean, and you'll never get the results you want. Of course, you can see this is not your fault.
And then he told me he also has good news for me.
Here in Tibet, we have a tradition and national pride in keeping our bodies clean, and a big part of this is flushing out the ceramide compounds that are causing toxic fat to appear in the first place. When you do this, you'll stop fat from entering your bloodstream and clogging up your pancreas. All you need is this powerful blend of special plants that target and completely destroy the cause of this toxic fat and melt it away. These powerful plant compounds that we use here in Tibet also help to neutralize foreign agents in the blood, repair the damage caused by exposure to toxins, and fight against inflammation. You'll need to mix these plants together in specific amounts and drink them every morning. This is how you'll create a powerful catalytic effect to boost their efficiency. This causes a potent chain reaction that reverses your type 2 diabetes. Upgrading your diet with these specific nutrients will finally help you get rid of the unwanted grease and maintain a clean grill and a healthy body. And once you unclog your entire body, beginning with the pancreas and continuing with your liver and heart, everything will start working perfectly again. This is how your body will naturally produce the amount of insulin it needs.
The doctor's words were impressive. His certainty, his method, and his background amazed me.
And just like you, I was extremely curious to find out what this ultimate diabetes reversing formula was. What could possibly make it so powerful to not only fiercely fight diabetes, but also start repairing and rejuvenating the entire body, like your blood vessels, heart, pancreas, and liver.
Here's a short explanation of the astonishing mix of ingredients used by Dr. Zhang and how they work.
But first, the doctor warned me. This is 100% effective only when you use all the ingredients combined in these exact same ratios to get the best possible results against diabetes, heart disease, liver problems, poor circulation, and body inflammation. Without adequate preparation, the whole ritual is pretty much worthless. That's why a lot of supplements don't have any effect. And this is something that no one will tell you, because as Dr. Jun said, and after all my research, Big Pharma's interest is to keep you on the hamster wheel, not solve your problems. So, the first ingredient is yarrow flowers. This plant, fortified with a few vitamins and minerals, is so powerful that it has the capacity to target and flush out the dangerous ceramide compound that causes fat to clog your organs. Then, bitter melon blended with juniper berries and a specific quantity of banamba leaf melt the glue-like white fat deposits by infiltrating and softening the dangerous fat cells around your belly and vital organs. Licorice with white mulberry act as a dynamic catalyst that melts away both big and tiny clusters of toxic white fat, unclogging your heart, liver, pancreas, and colon. Soon enough, after starting on the tea, you'll enjoy the healthy body of your youth, that slim and healthy body that can take in all foods without restrictions.
It all sounded great, but I still didn't understand why we had no idea about this diabetes breakthrough in the United States.
You can find the studies, Andrew. They are well preserved in the research laboratories of the University of Newcastle, but you will not find them in the media because powerful pharma lobbies suppress anything that would endanger their business. Then, Dr. June told me this was the reason why, after finishing his studies, he got back to Tibet and committed to helping his own people to the best of his abilities. I couldn't bear the injustice committed by doctors and big pharma companies of Europe or America, he said. Each time a newly released natural treatment works exceptionally well, they're simply not interested and pull the rug on the financing and the research right away.
Hearing this made me sad, but at the same time, I knew I could change something. That's when I promised myself that if this treatment worked for me, I'd show it to the world no matter the risks.
As you can imagine, it took me a few months of focused work to recreate this super potent tea here in America. Well, the first thing I did was contact my good friend Daniel Bolson, medical researcher and nutrition expert, to help me with his lab because I had to make sure I was doing everything by the book. Daniel was super keen to help anyone with type 2 diabetes because his father lost his eyesight to the disease 8 years ago. He had 20 years of experience in the natural medicine space, so that made him the perfect partner for me. Then, we searched the whole world through our scientific connections and only worked with certified producers and verified suppliers, making sure that our recipe only included top quality ingredients. It was exhausting. We worked day and night, testing until dawn, making sure that we had the right quantities and the most effective combination of ingredients. Daniel said that it would be a lot more efficient if we were to bottle these active ingredients in easy-to-swallow capsules instead of tea, because this way, nobody could get the ratios wrong and the effect would be more powerful.
He was right. I agreed right away, and after a few months of testing, there it was.
My hands were shaking as I finally held the formula that would save me from my diabetes disaster and bring my life and happiness back. If this tiny, natural pill was the most effective treatment for type 2 diabetes, it would be a miracle. Of course, I was the very first one to try it.
The first 3 days, I didn't feel much, but my faith was strong.
After another 2 days, something changed. I started feeling less anxious and more relaxed.
After a week, I could see clearly that I was sleeping better and my energy was increasing, but I noticed no change in my blood sugar levels.
Then I started thinking maybe I was a little foolish to think it would really reverse my diabetes and I'll probably still have to schedule my amputation. At the same time, Peter swore it worked for him. Another 4 days later, something incredible happened. I checked my morning blood sugar, and to my surprise, it had dropped a whopping 70 points, down to 290. To be honest, I initially thought it was a mistake, but with each day that passed, my readings dropped dramatically. A few weeks later, I was down to 210, then 160, 130, until I finally stabilized at 103. And this was not all. Even though I found it hard to believe, the fat on my belly and back was melting day by day, just as my blood sugar was dropping.
The truth is that I started looking younger, much younger.
The impossible cravings and snacking were gone, and my strength was restored. And most importantly, the foot infection had begun to recede. In 6 months, I'd lost a total of 58 pounds with my blood sugar stable at about 94 and with 0 signs of infection.
My health markers were all within normal ranges.
And for the first time in 5 years, I felt a new surge of energy and freedom. This meant I could live my life again, eat out at restaurants with my wife, spend more time with friends, and of course, get to watch my amazing daughter Annabelle grow up.
We had the time of our lives. You can't imagine how wonderful it is to have this new freedom. I was feeling so energetic, so confident, and most of all, I was happy again.
My test had worked. My mission was clear now. I had to share this amazing discovery with the world and help those struggling with type 2 diabetes reverse their disease. So I spoke to Daniel to test it on more people.
But before that, we decided that our treatment had to fulfill 3 basic conditions.
First, it had to work for everybody who has type 2 diabetes, from those who had this terrible disease for many years to the newly diagnosed and pre-diabetics. Second, it had to deliver results in less than 180 days, because I know people don't have much time and cannot wait a long time to see results. Third, it had to be backed up by multiple independent studies. We kept these key elements in mind to prove even to the most skeptical of diabetics, who all said it was impossible, that our treatment really works and, at the same time, is proven by science.
Thanks to Daniel's contacts, we were able to find 160 volunteers.
Men and women, 20 years old up to 82 years old, from different walks of life. Some were pre-diabetic, others newly diabetic, and some were people who had suffered for 40 years with the disease. All agreed to try our treatment for 180 days, and that's because we personally delivered it to their home. They each received a form so they could do weekly reports on their progress. I was prepared to wait for at least a couple of weeks for the initial reports to come back.
But what happened next was amazing.
After 6 or 7 days, I was getting calls from everyone in the study, claiming their glucose readings were better and they also started to lose weight. They couldn't believe it.
So I encouraged them to stick with their pills and continue tracking their progress.
And when I went to collect the reports, the results were mind-blowing. 158 out of 160 had completely melted the toxic fat around their vital organs, cleaned up their pancreas, and turned their liver into a fat-burning engine. Now, their internal organs were clean, in perfect working condition, and most importantly, diabetes was removed from their bodies in just a few weeks. 2. This method melted away an average of 21 pounds of excess body fat in 6 weeks. All of the people, without exception, who reached the 6-month mark had considerably improved their health markers, lowering their blood pressure, improving cardiovascular health, and even enhancing brain function.
Now, you might probably ask what happened to the 2 people who didn't completely reverse their type 2.
Well, their fasting blood sugar levels dropped to about 125, which means that their diabetes was now under control and considered low risk. This increased their life expectancy by an additional 10 years. So the experiment turned out to be a real success for everybody.
We were so excited, we couldn't wait to share this treatment with the entire world.
This was the birth of GLUCOFART, the only method that eliminates ceramide buildup from your body and the most powerful way of controlling blood sugar and reversing type 2 diabetes, clearing the fat from around your pancreas, liver, and heart. This is the formula that reversed my type 2 diabetes and helped more than 72,000 people free themselves from high blood sugar, heart, and liver problems. An extremely effective formula you can start using right now and see results in just a few days.
People from all over the world confirmed this amazing achievement.
GLUCOFART is an amazing supplement. I totally recommend GLUCOFART because it contains the perfect mix of plants, minerals, and vitamins that can support your blood sugar for a healthy and happy life.
By now, you're probably asking, how can I get this amazing supplement?
The truth is that getting all the right ingredients to make this powerful type 2 diabetes reversing formula is extremely hard. As Dr. June said, 97% of the natural ingredients on the market are either fake or filled with pesticides. Also, the people who have tested our product and regained their lives back keep asking us for more bottles for themselves, for their families, and friends, just to stock up in case we won't be able to provide any more, and to make sure they will have the power to fight diabetes for the rest of their lives. Plus, there are an impressive number of people who don't have diabetes but just take the supplement to rejuvenate their entire body and improve the function of the pancreas, liver, and heart, eliminating fat from around their organs, and emptying our stock in a matter of days. Moreover, GLUCOFART is carefully produced only in small batches that take up to 6 months to deliver.
This process is essential to assure that the quality of the product is 100% effective.
And don't forget about the big pharma companies who are already hunting us like mad for ruining their profits from innocent people who are desperate for a cure. But since you've educated yourself with this video today, in the next few minutes, you'll find out how to get your hands on a brand new bottle.
And before that, I want to explain to you how you should take GLUCOFART.
First, you should take 1 capsule of GLUCOFART on a daily basis for at least 30 days. There's no doubt that your blood sugar will start to stabilize in less than 3 weeks, and your markers will look good in less than a month. But it's essential for you to continue to eliminate all the fat from around your organs. This way, you will significantly decrease your risk of pancreas failure, heart and liver problems, and you'll feel how your body is being supercharged and regenerated. Depending on your current condition, it could take at least 75 days to treat the deterioration caused by ceramides after so many years of neglect, which means 3 bottles of GLUCOFART. Or, and this is the most popular choice among the people who contact us, if you want the best chance of fighting against heart complications, liver disease, while treating type 2 diabetes, a 6-month supply of GLUCOFART is all you need. Nobody in the world can estimate exactly how many toxic ceramides are in your blood and organs at this point, because this depends on many factors, such as your medical history, how old your type 2 diabetes is, your overall state of health and lifestyle choices, and so on. So, as a rule of thumb, after seeing the positive results of more than 72,000 people suffering from advanced type 2 diabetes, we recommend taking 6 bottles or more to be completely safe for a period of 180 days. This should be enough to completely eliminate the toxic molecules and fat from your vital organs, thus removing your diabetes, heart and liver problems, and helping you achieve a faster metabolism and a fat-burning state. It is now obvious why GLUCOFART is the only efficient option to successfully treat type 2 diabetes. Nothing else out there has been proven to work. You could go to a doctor who will torture you, as it happened to me. You could try all the meds and treatments, after which you'll suffer through all the negative side effects I've listed, and you'll come to the same conclusion: nothing works. The disease will progress as you start feeling sicker, more depressed, exhausted, starved, and anxious.
I also guarantee that the so-called alternative methods, such as meditation, acupuncture, or different shakes, which are actually all fake herbal extracts, are not strong enough to treat type 2 diabetes. All of these are a waste of time, energy, and money, and you know it. They won't get you well in a million years.
Unlike GLUCOFART, that can get the job done in less than 3 weeks while keeping you safe from further heart, liver, and pancreas disorders. You can understand why Daniel and I initially wanted to set the price of GLUCOFART at $380 a bottle. All the ingredients are natural, most of them quite rare and hard to procure. Plus, this special formula is designed to address the root cause of type 2 diabetes, which is a life-threatening disease, one that could eventually leave you blind, with an amputated leg, or even dead. Also, add in the costs of seeing a specialist in your area, including the tests he'll make you pay for, and the drugs he's going to prescribe to you for the rest of your life. Given all this, $380 a bottle should seem like an incredible offer, but as I mentioned already, GLUCOFART is not about making a profit. Sure, it would be nice to get paid for our efforts, but if we wanted money, we would accept Big Pharma's proposal right now, shut down our website, and make millions from licensing exclusive use of the formula to them.
But we don't want their filthy money. All we want is to help you and people like you get better. That's what my story and mission meant right from the start.
I wish this miraculous product existed before I nearly traumatized my family with my leg amputation. But I can't change the past, and what matters now is that after receiving emails from people who can't afford GLUCOFART, I knew I had to find a way so that everyone could afford it, which is why there's no chance I could consider charging you anywhere near $400 for this. And because you're watching this presentation, if you act today through this website and take the life-changing decision of investing in this extraordinary anti-diabetes weapon, My team and I have agreed to give you the only effective treatment that allowed us to finally hit the stop button on type 2 diabetes for only $69 a bottle.
But you know what? I'm going to make the deal even sweeter.
Because I know how hard it is to live in constant fear that you could slip into a coma or lose your eyesight or get Alzheimer's. I've set up a discounted package system of 6 bottles of GLUCOFART for you that's only $49 a bottle, for a total of $294, which is being offered today only for as long as supplies last. And once we run out of bottles, the Buy Now buttons will no longer be active anymore until we make another batch again, which takes around 5 to 6 months at least. Click the 6-bottle package or any other package that you want below to secure your order.
Consider this: the smallest but most powerful investment you can ever make in yourself.
Yes, 1 bottle of GLUCOFART might stabilize your blood sugar and deal with problems like restless sleep, low energy, and food cravings. 3 bottles might be enough to rapidly restore your entire body, slashing extra pounds, improving blood flow, and helping rejuvenate your brain cells to keep Alzheimer's away. But 6 bottles of GLUCOFART could make your body immune not only to diabetes, cravings, poor blood flow, but to all the problems brought on by the fat that's been accumulating around your organs, like your pancreas, liver, and heart. This way, you will eliminate all types of body inflammation, some which you may not even have a clue about.
Click the order button below after choosing the best package for you, and you'll end up on our secure checkout page.
Enter your payment details, place the order, and in less than 7 days from now, you'll get GLUCOFART delivered straight to your home. Click the button now. It's the only way to secure your package while supplies last. You have absolutely nothing to risk because you're covered by our 60 days, 100% healthy or money-back guarantee. Start taking this groundbreaking formula today and see for yourself how your blood sugar levels drop back to their normal range within days, how your tiredness and cravings gradually fade away, how you can finally feel healthy again, and then be able to enjoy your favorite foods every time you want. Just like 72,000 other satisfied customers found out. And if you're not satisfied for any reason, it never happened, but just in case, send me an email and I will buy it back from you, no questions asked.
Like I said, this is a 100% risk-free investment.
So click one of the buttons below to get started on your journey of becoming diabetes-free. But please, know that you really do have to act now. We are offering GLUCOFART for just $69, and even cheaper if you're getting one of our more popular bundle packages, just to put this amazing product into the hands of more people. You'll gain access to GLUCOFART, which will arrive on your doorstep in a matter of days.
Listen, when you think about it, you really only have 2 choices ahead of you right now, just like I did not long ago.
Option 1, stop following this presentation and leave this page. Do nothing. Keep going the way you are now, with those horrible cravings, the lethal blood sugar spikes, the burning inflammation in your body, with restrictive dieting, tiredness, restless sleep, risking a diabetic coma, blindness, amputation, or Alzheimer's. Frustrated that nothing works, spending hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars on useless therapies, struggling with your diabetes for years or even decades, losing your vision, your leg, or your mental clarity. It's not going to be pleasant. Or option 2, grab GLUCOFART right now while risking nothing at all, and you'll be surprised at how well it works. So click below to make your choice. Enter your payment details and place the order now.
It was a pleasure for me to share my tale and this amazing discovery with you today. I think you're ready to get started now.
Click below and start reversing your type 2 diabetes today.